Welcome, dear listeners, to Voices of Time channel name, where we journey through the mists of time to uncover the strangest and most captivating tales from history. Tonight, we're stepping into the opulent world of ancient Egypt, a land of golden sands, towering pyramids, and one of the most enigmatic figures ever to grace the earth, Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. Her name alone conjures images of beauty so powerful it swayed empires, of a queen whose charm captivated the hearts of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But behind her legendary allure lies a history story that's as unsettling as it is fascinating, a tale of beauty rituals so extreme, so bizarre, that they might send a shiver down your spine as you drift towards sleep. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine Alexandria, 50 BC, a bustling city where the Nile meets the Mediterranean. The air is thick with the scent of lotus flowers and incense, and the streets hum with merchants, scholars, and priests. At the heart of this vibrant world stands Cleopatra, a woman whose beauty was not just a gift but a carefully crafted weapon. In ancient Egypt, beauty was more than skin deep, it was a symbol of divine favor, a mark of power. For Cleopatra, looking flawless was a political act, a way to assert her authority in a world dominated by men. But the methods she used, they were anything but ordinary. Tonight's history story is about 5 of Cleopatra's most horrifying beauty secrets, rituals that pushed the boundaries of luxury, danger, and even morality. From bathing in the milk of hundreds of donkeys to applying makeup laced with deadly poisons, Cleopatra's pursuit of perfection was relentless. These practices weren't just about vanity. They were about projecting an image of a goddess queen, untouchable and eternal. As we explore these secrets, you'll hear tales of opulence and sacrifice, of ingenuity and risk, all woven into a history story that's perfect for unwinding at the end of the day. Let's set the scene a little more. Ancient Egypt was a civilization obsessed with aesthetics. Men and women alike spent hours perfecting their appearance, believing that beauty connected them to the gods. Skin was kept smooth with oils. Eyes were lined with dark kohl to mimic the falcon god Horus, and hair was adorned with wigs or dyed with exotic mixtures. Cleopatra, as both a ruler and a woman, took this to another level. She wasn't just following trends, she was setting them, experimenting with ingredients and techniques that were as innovative as they were shocking. Her beauty rituals were a blend of science, superstition, and spectacle, designed to awe her court and her enemies alike. Why does this history story matter? Because it reveals something timeless about humanity's quest for beauty. Cleopatra's methods may seem extreme to us now, but they reflect a universal desire to transcend the ordinary, to become something more. As you listen, you might find yourself wondering, how far would you go for beauty? Would you bathe in milk hauled from distant farms? Would you risk poison for a radiant glow? These questions linger as we dive into Cleopatra's world, a place where beauty was both a crown and a curse. This history story is crafted to soothe you, to carry you gently into the past as you prepare for sleep. My voice will guide you, slow and steady. Like the flow of the Nile itself, the visual soft, golden hues of Egyptian art, the flicker of torchlight on stone walls will wrap you in a sense of calm. And the music, a delicate whisper of harps and flutes, will keep you grounded in this ancient world. So, settle into your favorite spot. Let the day's worries slip away, and allow this history story to unfold. We'll explore 5 beauty secrets, each more surprising than the last, starting with one you've likely heard of but never fully understood: Cleopatra's famous donkey milk baths. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to breathe. Picture yourself standing on the banks of the Nile, the cool night air brushing your skin, the stars above mirror the torches below. And in the distance, you hear the faint hum of a royal procession. Cleopatra is there, her presence commanding, her beauty undeniable. What secrets did she hide behind that radiant smile? What lengths did she go to for perfection tonight? We'll uncover the answers, one chilling ritual at a time. This is a history story of beauty, power, and sacrifice, a tale to carry you into dreams. Let's begin with the first secret, a ritual as lavish as it was strange. Now, let's step into the heart of Cleopatra's palace, where our first beauty secret awaits: the donkey milk bath. Picture a vast chamber, its walls carved with lotus flowers and ibis birds, lit by flickering oil lamps. At the center is a bath hewn from smooth stone, filled to the brim with a creamy, glistening liquid. This isn't water, it's milk. And not just any milk, but the milk of donkeys, gathered from hundreds of animals across Egypt. This is the legendary ritual that Roman historian Pliny the Elder described with awe, claiming Cleopatra bathed in donkey milk daily to keep her skin soft, radiant, and youthful. It's a history story that's both opulent and unsettling, a perfect blend of extravagance and strangeness. Why donkey milk? In ancient Egypt, milk was more than a drink, it was a sacred substance. Linked to the goddess Isis, the mother of all life, donkeys, hardy creatures of the desert, were abundant, and their milk was prized for its richness. Modern science tells us there is some truth to Cleopatra's choice. Donkey milk contains lactic acid, a natural exfoliant that can slough off dead skin, leaving it smooth and glowing. But in Cleopatra's time, this was less about science and more about divine symbolism. By bathing in milk, she aligned herself with the gods, presenting herself as a living deity whose beauty transcended mortal limits. The logistics of this ritual were staggering. Pliny wrote that Cleopatra required the milk of 700 donkeys for her baths. Imagine the effort. Herds of donkeys driven to Alexandria, their milk collected daily by teams of servants, then transported in heavy jars to the palace. The milk wasn't used alone either. Cleopatra's attendants likely mixed it with honey for hydration, lavender for fragrance, or rose petals for an extra touch of luxury. The bath would have been warm, the air thick with sweet, earthy scents, creating an experience that was as much about spectacle as skincare. But there's a darker side to this history story. In Egypt's scorching heat, milk spoils quickly. Without refrigeration, keeping those vats of donkey milk fresh was nearly impossible. The smell could turn sour, sharp, even rancid, filling the bathing chamber with an odor far less divine than the ritual's reputation. Bacteria could thrive in the warm liquid, posing risks of skin infections. Yet Cleopatra persisted, day after day, because beauty was her currency. To her court, to her lovers, to her enemies, these baths were a statement. I am untouchable, eternal, flawless. Let's pause to imagine the scene. You're a servant in Cleopatra's palace, carrying a heavy jar of milk up marble steps. The queen reclines in her bath, her dark hair pinned high, her skin glistening as the milk laps against her. She's calm, regal, but you know the effort behind this moment, the donkeys, the labor, the constant churn of resources. It's a ritual that dazzles and disturbs. A reminder that beauty in ancient Egypt was never simple. Cleopatra didn't just bathe in milk, she bathed in power, in the ability to command such extravagance. This history story also connects to the present. Today, donkey milk is a niche skincare ingredient, found in luxury creams and soaps. Celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow have cited Cleopatra as inspiration, though their versions are far more hygienic. But in Cleopatra's time, the risks were real, the stakes higher. Her milk baths were a gamble, a blend of faith and ambition. As we move to the next secret, consider this: was it worth it? Did the milk truly preserve her youth? Or was it the myth that made her timeless? Let's find out what else she dared to do for beauty. Your next beauty secret takes us to Cleopatra's most striking feature: her eyes. If you've ever seen a depiction of her on coins, in statues, or in modern films, you've noticed those bold, almond-shaped eyes, framed by thick, dark lines of kohl. In ancient Egypt, kohl wasn't just makeup, it was a cultural cornerstone, a protective charm, and a mark of beauty. But Cleopatra's kohl was no ordinary cosmetic. It was often made with antimony or lead-based galena, minerals that gave her eyes a mesmerizing glow but carried a deadly secret. This history story is one of artistry and risk, a ritual that defined Egyptian beauty yet hit a chilling cost. Kohl was ubiquitous in ancient Egypt, worn by men, women, and even children. It was applied with a delicate stick, drawn across the eyelids to create dramatic lines that mimicked the eyes of the falcon god Horus. Beyond aesthetics, kohl was believed to protect against the harsh desert sun and ward off evil spirits. For Cleopatra, it was also a tool of seduction, amplifying her gaze to captivate allies and rivals alike. Her kohl was likely a custom blend, prepared by skilled servants who ground minerals into fine powder, mixing them with oils or water to create a smooth paste. But here's where this history story turns eerie. Antimony, a common ingredient in Egyptian kohl, is a toxic metalloid. Lead-based galena, another staple, was even worse. Cleopatra and her court were unaware of these dangers. Of course, they saw only the immediate effect: eyes that sparkled with an otherworldly intensity. The risk was invisible, but real, making this beauty secret as horrifying as it was iconic. The process of applying kohl was a ritual in itself. Picture Cleopatra seated before a bronze mirror, her reflection flickering in the lamplight. A servant kneels beside her, holding a small alabaster pot filled with dark powder. With steady hands, they dip a kohl stick into the mixture, then trace it along her eyelids, extending the lines to create a dramatic, elongated effect. The result is striking eyes that seem to pierce through you, commanding attention. But as the kohl settles into her skin, tiny particles of poison linger, a silent threat beneath the surface. This history story also reveals Cleopatra's ingenuity. She didn't just follow tradition, she elevated it. Some sources suggest she experimented with different minerals, perhaps adding malachite for a greenish tint or charcoal for deeper blacks. Her kohl was a signature, a way to stand out in a world where everyone wore makeup. It's said that her gaze could stop a room, and the kohl was part of that magic. But at what cost? The servants who ground the minerals, the women who wore it daily, how many suffered for this beauty? Today, kohl is still used in some cultures, though modern versions are lead-free and safe. The legacy of Cleopatra's dramatic eyes lives on in winged eyeliner trends and smoky makeup looks. But in her time, the price of beauty was steep. As you listen, imagine the weight of those choices, the lure of perfection versus the shadow of harm. This history story of kohl is a reminder that beauty often comes with hidden dangers, a theme we'll see again as we move to the next secret. Now, let's turn to Cleopatra's radiant cheeks, glowing with a flush that signaled health and vitality. In ancient Egypt, a rosy complexion was a sign of divine favor, and Cleopatra achieved this with a beauty secret that's both ingenious and unsettling: blush made from crushed carmine beetles. This history story takes us into the world of natural cosmetics, where beauty was crafted from the most unexpected sources. As we explore this ritual, let the soft rhythm of the narration carry you deeper into relaxation, perfect for a quiet night. Carmine beetles, also known as cochineal, are small insects native to regions far from Egypt, possibly traded along ancient routes from Mesopotamia or beyond. When dried and crushed, these beetles produce a vibrant red dye, prized for its intensity. In Cleopatra's palace, servants would collect thousands of these insects, drying them under the sun until they turned brittle. Then, in a meticulous process, they'd grind the beetles into a fine powder, mixing it with wax or oil to create a smooth, spreadable blush. The result was a rich, reddish hue that gave Cleopatra's cheeks a youthful glow. This wasn't a simple task. Harvesting beetles required precision and patience, as each insect yielded only a tiny amount of dye. Imagine a servant hunched over a mortar, the faint crunch of beetle shells blending with the hum of the palace. The powder was stored in delicate jars, a treasure as valuable as gold. Cleopatra would apply it lightly, perhaps with a soft brush or her fingertips, blending it into her cheeks to mimic the flush of health. To her court, this was beauty perfected, a sign of vitality in a world where pale skin was the norm. But there's a twist in this history story. While carmine was natural, it wasn't always safe. Some people experienced allergic reactions, rashes, itching, or swelling. The process of collecting and preparing the dye was also gruesome, requiring the death of countless insects. For Cleopatra, this was a small price to pay. Her blush wasn't just makeup, it was a statement of wealth, showing she could afford such a rare and labor-intensive product. In a way, those crushed beetles were a symbol of her power, as much as her crown or throne. This history story connects to modern times too. Carmine is still used in cosmetics today, from lipsticks to blushes, though it's now processed with stricter safety standards. Some brands even advertise their products as Cleopatra-inspired, tapping into her enduring mystique. But in her era, the stakes were higher. The servants who prepared the dye, the women who wore it, none knew the full risks. As you listen, picture Cleopatra's glowing cheeks, the red hue catching the light. It's beautiful, yes, but it's also a reminder of the lengths she went to for perfection. Our fourth beauty secret brings us to Cleopatra's crowning glory, her hair. In ancient Egypt, hair was a canvas for beauty, often adorned with wigs or dyed to perfection. Cleopatra was no exception, and her secret for vibrant, lustrous locks was a mixture that's as striking as it is strange: henna combined with animal blood. This history story dives into the world of ancient hair care, where nature and sacrifice intertwine to create a look fit for a queen. Let the tale unfold as you relax, letting the day slip away. Henna, derived from the leaves of the Lawsonia plant, was a staple in Egyptian beauty. Its reddish-brown pigment was used to dye hair, nails, and even skin, creating a rich, warm tone. But Cleopatra took it further, blending henna with blood, often from oxen or other animals, to deepen the color and add shine. The blood was believed to enhance the dye's staying power, giving her hair a glossy, almost supernatural sheen. Servants would prepare this mixture with care, boiling henna leaves and mixing in the blood under strict supervision, as the process was both sacred and meticulous. Imagine the scene: Cleopatra seated in her private chambers, her hair loose and flowing. A servant approaches with a bowl of dark, reddish paste, its earthy scent mingling with a faint metallic tang. The mixture is applied strand by strand, left to set for hours under the warm Egyptian sun. The result? Hair that gleamed like polished ebony. It's a history story that's equal parts fascinating and unsettling. The process wasn't without flaws. Blood, even when boiled, could carry bacteria, risking scalp infections. The smell was likely pungent, requiring heavy perfumes to mask it, and the labor slaughtering animals, collecting blood, preparing the dye was immense. Yet Cleopatra embraced it, perhaps because the ritual's intensity matched her own ambition. She also wore wigs, as was common, but her natural hair was treated with this strange concoction to maintain her regal image. This history story resonates today. Henna is still a popular hair dye, prized for its natural origins, but the use of blood has long faded, replaced by safer alternatives. As you listen, imagine the weight of Cleopatra's choices, beauty that demanded sacrifice, both human and animal. It's a reminder that her allure was crafted with care, at a cost few could bear. As we move to the final secret, let this image linger: a queen with hair like midnight, shining with the blood of her rituals. Our final beauty secret is the most shocking of all: Cleopatra's use of crocodile dung as a face mask. Yes, you heard that right, dung from the sacred crocodiles of the Nile, revered as embodiments of the god Sobek. In ancient Egypt, this wasn't just waste, it was a potent ingredient, believed to rejuvenate the skin and erase the signs of time. This history story is a blend of reverence and revulsion, a ritual that pushes the boundaries of what beauty can mean. As you listen, let the strangeness of this tale carry you deeper into relaxation. Crocodile dung was collected from the Nile's banks, where these massive creatures basked under the sun. Servants would gather it carefully, drying it until it turned to a fine, crumbly powder. This was then mixed with Nile mud, milk, or honey to create a thick paste, applied to the face as a mask. Ancient texts, though sparse, suggest that Egyptian women used this mixture to smooth wrinkles and brighten their complexion. Cleopatra, ever experimental, likely embraced it, seeing it as a way to harness the power of the Nile itself. The logic behind this ritual was rooted in Egyptian beliefs. Crocodiles were sacred, their strength and longevity tied to the divine. Using their dung was a way to channel that power, to borrow their eternal vitality. The mask was left on for hours, hardening under the sun or in the cool shade of the palace. When rinsed off, it might have acted as a mild exfoliant, thanks to the organic matter and minerals. But the risks were high. Down, even when dried, could harbor bacteria, leading to infections or skin irritation. Picture Cleopatra in her bathing chamber, her face coated in a greenish-brown mask. Servants stand by, fanning her gently, as the scent of mud and earth fills the air. To her, this was a sacred act, a communion with the gods. To us, it's a history story that's both grotesque and fascinating, a testament to how far she went for beauty. The labor was immense, collecting dung, preparing it safely, ensuring it was fit for a queen. Yet Cleopatra's commitment never wavered. Today, this ritual feels unthinkable, but it echoes in modern skincare's obsession with natural ingredients. Mud masks, clay masks, even charcoal all trace their roots to practices like this. Cleopatra's crocodile dung mask was a precursor, a bold experiment in a world without science. As you listen, imagine the Nile's crocodiles, their ancient eyes watching as their essence becomes part of a queen's beauty. It's a history story that lingers, both strange and profound. As we draw this history story to a close, the echoes of Cleopatra's world linger in the air. Her 5 beauty secrets: donkey milk baths, toxic coal, crushed beetle blush, blood-soaked hair dye, and crocodile dung masks paint a picture of a woman who was both visionary and fearless. Each ritual was a gamble, a blend of luxury and danger, crafted to make her a living goddess. This history story isn't just about beauty, it's about power, ambition, and the lengths one woman went to shape her legacy. As you lie there, ready for sleep, let these images drift through your mind. A queen in a milk-filled bath, her eyes gleaming with kohl, her cheeks glowing with beetle dye. Cleopatra's story resonates because it's timeless. We may not bathe in milk or use dung on our faces, but the pursuit of beauty still drives us. Modern skincare, with its serums and lasers, owes a debt to her experiments. Even if we've left the poison behind, her rituals were a performance, a way to command attention in a world that demanded perfection. As you listen, you might wonder, what would Cleopatra think of our beauty trends? Would she admire our innovations? Or would she find them just as strange as we find hers? This history story is meant to soothe, to carry you gently into the past as you prepare for rest. The Nile's whispers, the flicker of lamplight, the scent of lavender and honey, all these are part of the tale, wrapping you in a sense of calm. Cleopatra's beauty was her armor, her weapon, her legacy. But it came at a cost, one we can only imagine as we drift toward sleep. Which of her secrets shocked you most? The milk baths, hauled from distant farms, the coal that poisoned as it beautified, or perhaps the crocodile dung, a ritual as sacred as it was strange? Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient Egypt. If this history story captivated you, if it sent a shiver or a spark of wonder through your mind, consider giving this video a like, subscribe to channel name, and hit the bell to never miss another history story, each one crafted to guide you into a peaceful night. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us which of Cleopatra's rituals you found most horrifying, or what beauty secret you'd like us to explore next. Your voice is part of this journey, connecting us across time. As the stars shine over the Nile, let the weight of the day slip away. Picture Cleopatra's palace fading into the distance, its golden walls glowing softly in the moonlight. Our beauty secrets, once hidden in the shadows of history, are now yours to ponder as you drift into dreams. This history story is a bridge between past and present, a reminder that beauty is eternal, even if its methods change. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the Nile carry you into rest. Until our next history story, good night.